Good morning, everyone. Let's talk briefly about police organizations. Police organizations or police officer, they are the law enforcement. It means they have to make sure that both individual persons or the company they follow the law. They act according to the law. They didn't break the law. They didn't do any activity that against the law. So one of the role of the police officers around the country is they need to monitor if they need to monitor, and then if there is a case that people or organizations doing something illegally, they need to take actions and let the case get into the justice procedure until the case go to the courts of law, and then the judge will make decisions what is going to happen with the company, organizations, or individual persons. So police officer is the law enforcement, right? So we see a lot of scandal, or we see many cases from televisions that police officers themselves broke the law. The police officers, they are the persons who carry sword, and the government and the citizens, we are the persons who give them sword. So we need to make sure that we give swords to the right persons, to make sure that those swords will not come around and hurt the citizens or the police organizations itself. So the scenario that might be happen when the police officers need to reinforce the law is they're strictly on the law, and sometimes they compromise because sometimes you are not able to be very strictly. Sometimes you need to compromise. Sometimes you need to sometimes you need to relax. Sometimes you need to be flexible, because we have to accept that there is a weak point in the law, in the constitutions, that we heard a lot from the attorney or from the parliamentary or from the politicians and from the television. So the first scenario is police officers, they follow the law strictly, but of course I wish in some cases they will be more flexible. And the second scenario is they reinforce the law only half. They use their they use their role. They didn't do 100%. They just only give 50% in their role to reinforce the law, or with the citizens or with the organizations. There are only two people in the country. The first one is individual persons. The second one is organizations. For example, the company is a persons, but they are not a real human. But the company status is a persons as well. So according to the law, company is a persons and individual persons, right? You and me, we are the persons under the law as well. So the second scenario is the police didn't give 100%, but they give 50% to use the law against the criminal. There will be more compromise to the criminal or to the cases individual do against the law on for whatever activity. And the third scenario is they didn't do their role at all. It means they didn't give any, and they didn't take any responsibility to reinforce the law with individual one persons or with the companies or organizations to make sure that the criminal, the activity and the illegal activity will not happen in the country. And the last scenario is the police organizations themselves or the police officers themselves, they abuse the law. For example, they're asking for treasure from the gray business. So for example, pub and specialty muscles, and also asking for for the treasures from casino. For example, this is abusive the law because the police officer they have power and empowerment and from the from according to the law and according to the government they have empowerment to use to make sure that everything behave in the right way and follow the law. So they have the sword and they have the power to threaten if they want to asking for the treasure or something in exchange to make sure that the gray business they are able to run and the business normally. So I think um, many cases that we saw from televisions, but how many cases that we didn't see from televisions? I think around the country there are so many cases that police officer abuse their role, abuse their responsibility to reinforce the law with the community and the society to make sure that the people in the community living in harmony. So how to solve this problem? We need to look at why they need to they need to cooperate with the criminal. They need to make the way for the criminal to do illegal activity more easier. They need to support and they need to help the criminal to increase their power in the country or in the community or in the society because of the money, because of the interest, in exchange for the interest. And the amount of interest is big amount and it's too high until police officer cannot turn their eye away from the interest that they get offer from the from businessmen who didn't intend to do the legally business, but they intend to do illegally business. So I think we need to in how to solve the problem is but let me say first, not every police officer they are the best persons. No, there are many good police officers out there that we can rely on. So how to solve the problem? I think we need to increase the benefits for the police officer, particularly the high-ranking police officer, because when you are the high-ranking police officer, you even have more power and more empowerment to do more things, to give an order to your employee, to do a lots of things. And most of the businessmen they know very well that if they want to access to the person that who will help them to do their business more easier, they need to go to see the high ranking officer. And we need to examine the property of the police officers every 6 months and let them answer where that the money come from. Every 6 months we do examinations their property. We are not going to monitor them because we believe that they are going to do the bad thing and they will get money from the criminal or from the businessman who doing the gray business. But we need to do settlement, the proper procedure to examinations the property of the high-ranking officers to make sure that they are able to tell that where that the property come from? Where does the money come from? Thank you very much.